What made you lose respect for someone? Thinking you can buy someone and get someone to do crazy shit for money. That's unacceptable. No matter how much power someone has, you shouldn't blatantly abuse it like that. People need money, and to humiliate them in order for them to get paid is horrific. We were teens at a McDonald's drive-thru. About 4 of us, and one of my friends asked the driver to spot him a $1 for a McChicken. He said nah, he doesn't wanna break a $20, even though he was already paying cash, and the friend who asked is still my best friend today after 18 years, and he was totally good for the measly $1. Anyways, we all stopped hanging out with him soon after, as we found out he was selling drugs/pills/ etc., and would try to invite us to parties just to try and distribute to us and our friends. I came home from school to my mom crying. She tells me my stepdad sexually assaulted my sister. Then right after she says it's okay, Ruben's gonna be okay. I later learned when I moved in with my dad that my sister told my mom, and she said to her, I hope he doesn't leave me for this. I'm now 17 and I haven't seen her in 6 years. She has tried to contact me but I have her completely blocked. Edit. Wow, didn't expect 55 upvotes. This is my first big post. Thanks for all the votes. Hope your guy have a better family. Edit 2. Wow, the big 100. Wasn't expecting this. All I can say is thanks for giving a random on the internet votes over personal experience. If anyone wants to talk about similar experiences, then please who. If needed, I can drop my Discord. Edit 3. You guys don't quit. 150 now, and all I'm doing is sitting in class. Once again, HMU, if you have a similar experience and are having a hard time with dealing. I hate that people have had to go through this at young ages. When he kissed the person who he knew I loved was pretty tough. BTW, happy cake day op. That my dad never came to one of my performances or races or choir shows. Ever. Liars. If you stop being friends with someone for their political ideologies, then you're the problem, not them. I had this friend who was really awesome and fun, as long as there weren't any women around. As soon as a girl was talking to us, he tried to put me in a bad daylight, making fun of me, or told personal stuff, etc. I was kind of used to it, and wasn't that bothered about it. My ego could handle it and could usually spin it into something fun or something. Then there was this girl who I really liked a lot. Me and this friend, and some others, went out to a club and the girl was there. I started talking to her and we eventually kissed. That's the moment he found it necessary to start talking to her. About this time I was too late to a bathroom. The girl actually just ignored him, but it was such a shitty thing to do. In an extremely short answer, my friend Fred told me he had developed feelings for our other friend Olivia, neither of which are their real names. Upon being told no for an answer, his friends started trying to stalk her on social media. He said a bunch of weird shit on Snapchat. Overall made Olivia extremely uncomfortable. When I didn't side with him on the situation, he cussed me out, blocked me, and I received a text from one of his friends threatening that they'll kick my ass. A very bad one-upper. If you were abused, well, he was neglected and molested and abused. If you were harassed, well, he was sexually assaulted. If your dog died, well, his cat and dog died. All of it lies. Instantly blocked all contact. He used to talk down to everyone. He would try and succeed to make everyone around him look and seem terrible in order to make himself seem great. I just couldn't handle someone anymore who based their self-worth off of destroying that of the people around him. In no saint, I generally believe I'm an asshole, but you don't run everyone else down to make yourself seem good. Constantly. Talking to a friend after lockdown, and he was dropping transphobic and racist slurs in conversation. Normally I would still have respect to people I despise. But I have little respect to my grandmother on my dad's side. She's been trying to get my parents divorced because of my mother's race. QAnon. My boyfriend and his friends had an old buddy from school that they made arrangements to see when COVID restrictions relaxed in our area due to extremely low case counts. I was a bit on the fence about him, but during the dinner he told us this apparently hilarious story about how he wanted to take a ferry over to a nearby island for a fun trip, but the government was only allowing people to use ferries for essential travel. So to get around this, he decided to scream at and berate the ferry staff, saying that his mother was sick in a hospital in an effort to get on board. It was completely a lie, and they still didn't let him board. I can't imagine being so determined to make someone's day awful, plus take away credibility from people who actually have to travel for family emergencies. There were several public pleas from the ferry company for people to please stop taking out their anger about the government restrictions on the employees who had no say in making the rules but bore the burden of enforcing them. Definitely did not want to associate with that guy after that. An ex-friend convinced my religious school that I slept with a girl who happens to live 7 hours away, then went ahead and leaked fake texts of me, and I've lost any respect I've had for him. I attempted suicide and was released from the hospital sometime later. Was living in a new city away from my support group. Was playing a computer game with my high school friend and invited my friend whom I had known since the 3rs grade if he wanted to join us. He wasn't very good at the game and instead of declining was shouting at the top of his lungs about how much he hates the game and hates how I'm always trying to get him to play with me. Told me to call my ex-GF, was a super toxic relationship, and maybe she could convince me to succeed in my suicide attempt. He then bragged about it to our mutual friends about how he put me in my place. It took him nearly 4 years to apologize, and I still think of him as a piece of shit, but at least we can attend the same events like our friends' weddings. When my stepmother took my father back after he abused us, she hung that toilet paper with the flap under. I filed for divorce the next day. Happened to 2 different people, but the same series of events. They kept breaking up with then getting back with their boyfriend. For one of them, this happened on and off every 6 months for a few years. For the other it was every 2 weeks for a good 6 years. Like, either have respect for yourself or no one else will. They started to defend pedophiles, and told me they needed a contract with a girl to not rape them. When they, at 32, tried to cheat with me on their wife, mother of their 2 daughters, while I was underage, but legal. When a man I was seeing started threatening self-harm/suicide because I told him I didn't want to see him anymore. Never had a more crystal clear example of codependent manipulation/confirmation of a red flag in my life. I lost respect for him but was also immediately repulsed by him in every way. Girl I was dating when we were both working and going to school part-time, so things were tight financially in a way common to that age. All of the sudden she had plenty of money for us to go out to eat, buy new clothes and a bunch of other stuff that stuck out. What I soon found out was that she registered for a bunch of classes at a community college that she could transfer credits to her university, but told her dad that she needed the tuition money for the private university price. He sent her a personal check that she deposited and kept the difference. Her parents were pretty rich, but that she was willing to defraud them made me realize that we had a pretty big gulf in our moral codes. I worked in a used bookstore and some really vicious pro-Nazi and anti-Semitic books and pamphlets came in. I quit when he said he had no problem selling the stuff. It's just business. No, it's something altogether different. I knew a dude who assaulted 2 young girls when we first met. I didn't know. After about a year of hanging out, some people I knew started telling me about this guy's history, so I talked to him about it like an adult and asked him if it's true and what happened. He proceeded to tell me how both of these girls were at fault. They wore clothes that aroused him and so he did what he did. I haven't talked to him since that night. Laughing at my face, I despise that. Hearing them talk badly about someone they usually are very friendly with to their face. When he started to treat me like crap, made me think that no one else would love me, and took advantage of my low self-esteem to make me do things I didn't want to do, but he knew I was too scared to leave. I just wanted someone to love me. Finally I realized I'm a lot stronger than I thought and worthy of being loved, and I dumped his ass. I packed my shit up in one day and left. Never looked back. A friend of mine decided to drive home after a party. He was obviously pretty drunk and left when I was out of the room for a moment, so I won't mention it in time. A few years ago, I already lost my cousin due to a car accident and also saw someone dying after crashing into a truck, so I'm getting pretty pissed to see someone driving after drinking alcohol. Yay, I got really upset about it. Didn't ever want to see him again cause that was the moment I realized how reckless he truly is. Just don't drink and drive, guys. Don't risk your life and the life of others just to get home soon.